I'm about to lay some real talk on you, stuff that nobody in your life probably ever broke down for you. Not your parents, not your coaches, not the motivational speakers online. Most folks stumble through life without ever catching on, and honestly, that's how the game is rigged. But once I drop this on you, there's no turning back. It'll flip how you see everything, dividing your world into before and after. Back in the 1500s, this guy, Niccolo Machiavelli, dropped a book called The Prince that unpacked the raw, unfiltered rules of how people really operate. It was so raw that religious leaders tried to bury it, but the heavy hitters, kings, bosses, generals, kept it under wraps while using it to dominate. Why? Because it's not fluffy ideals, it's the straight-up user's guide to human behavior. Not the polished version we post on social media, but the gritty reality. And get this, the folks who already get this, they're pulling strings in meetings, dates, elections, you name it. They're out here strategizing like pros while you're just reacting. Ever wonder why nobody taught you this growing up? Simple. Generations before you got the same watered-down advice. Society pushes this narrative that facing facts makes you jaded, planning ahead makes you shady, and grasping power makes you the villain. But let's keep it 100. Pretending not to see the game doesn't make you pure, it makes you vulnerable. Starting today, we're flipping that. I'm handing you the tools to level up, to become the one others can't ignore. Once you internalize this, every conversation, every deal, every connection hits different. Before we dive deeper, smash that like if you're ready for a mindset shift, subscribe so you don't miss the follow-ups, and hit the bell, because this series is about to rewire how you move through the world. All your life, you've heard that people are logical creatures. We crunch numbers, weigh pros and cons, make smart calls based on evidence. Total myth, and one of the sneakiest ones out there. Machiavelli clocked this centuries ago. Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see and few can feel. In plain English, decisions come from what grabs us visually or emotionally, not deep dives into facts. People crave the easy vibe over harsh reality. That buddy venting about his toxic job but sticking around because change scares him more. The family member swearing they'll get healthy but scrolling instead of hitting the gym. Or the partner claiming they value stability but chasing drama. Logic crumbles against comfort, ego, or thrill. You've probably tried reasoning with folks, laying out data, proving your point, and watched it bounce off. Why? Emotions run the show. The real movers in history didn't win with pie charts. Think of leaders like Napoleon, who rallied armies with visions of glory, not battle stats. Or in business, how Apple sells you a lifestyle, not just a phone, making you feel innovative and cool. Religions hook you with stories of redemption, not debates. Master this, and you don't argue. You connect on a gut level. Want buy-in from your team? Don't list benefits. Paint a picture of success that lights them up. In relationships, skip debates. Create moments that build desire or highlight what's at stake. Ditch the facts-first approach. It's for amateurs. Shape feelings instead, and you'll own the narrative. Spot the emotional undercurrents in every pitch, post, or plea, and suddenly you're the one steering. But if emotions trump reason, then blind trust in loyalty is a setup for failure. Machiavelli's take? The world boils down to hunters and the hunted. Peel back the civility and its survival basics. The dominant claim what's theirs, the passive get claimed. Weakness doesn't just leave you exposed, it draws trouble. Bullies target the pushover, not the confident one. Companies axe the underperformers first in tough times. In dating, people gravitate to those who project unshakable vibe over the overly accommodating. Machiavelli put it blunt. Better to be feared than loved if you can't have both. not for kicks, but because it deters threats. Love without backbone invites backstabs. Respect backed by strength ensures you stand tall. Here's a twist. Showing vulnerability doesn't build bonds, it burdens others. A needy friend drains your energy until you distance yourself. In teams, the unreliable one forces everyone to pick up slack, breeding resentment. Society romanticizes sensitivity, calling it evolved manhood, but reality checks that. Strength protects what's yours, your crew, your goals, your peace. Without it, you're a target. Embrace this lens and interactions become clear. Who's leading? Who's following? Women often seek partners who exude that protector energy instinctively. Leaders emerge because crowds prefer direction over disorder. Decide now, lead or get led. Drawing from history, like Alexander the Great, blending might with myth to conquer, or modern CEOs like Elon Musk who command through bold vision, strength isn't optional, it's your edge. Your upbringing hammered in, play nice, avoid rocking the boat, and you'll fit in. Wrong move. Machiavelli saw it. People are wired to chase quick wins, making them prime for manipulation. Niceness gets mistaken for value, but it's often just fear of pushback. Women might say they want the sweetheart, but they respect the boundary setter. Workplaces tout collaboration while elevating the decisive go-getter. History's icons, Caesar, Churchill, weren't pushovers. They were fair but firm, generous on their terms. Modern power players? Think Jeff Bezos, strategic, not schmoozing for likes. Niceness seeks validation. Goodness delivers tough love when needed. Stand your ground, even if it ruffles feathers, that earns real respect. Kindness paired with spine, unstoppable. Without it, you're invisible at best. Loyalty, another fairy tale. Dad said, stick by your people no matter what. Machiavelli countered, fear trumps love for reliability, since affection flips when inconvenient. Spot it everywhere. Contacts who ghost until they need a favor. Jobs that preach family vibes then cut you loose. Partners who demand exclusivity while hedging bets. Loyalty's a two-way street. One-sided is just getting played. Powerful folks aren't ride or die blindly. They're calculated. They invest in proven allies, pull back from leeches. Like a wolf pack, run with equals, show fangs to threats. Test loyalties in low-stakes ways. See who reciprocates without gain. In business, think how venture capitalists back winners but exit flops fast. In life, nurture bonds that fuel you, sever those that drain. Loyalty minus mutual benefit? That's not honor, it's a trap. What really safeguards you? Not blind faith, reputation. Machiavelli nailed it. Folks judge by what you project, not your core. Overshare flaws and respect tanks. Craft your image strategically. History shows Cleopatra wielded allure and smarts to sway empires. Today, influencers build untouchable brands through curated stories. Want to seem capable? Solve issues publicly. Complain privately. Value scarcity. Don't always be on call. Explain only to those who matter. Reputation's your shield. Tarnish it, and recovery's brutal. Guard it like gold. But even that's not foolproof. Envy lurks, which leads to Machiavelli's war wisdom. Conflicts constant, just delayed for others' gain. Peace is prep time. In careers, rivals eye your spot. Prep by upskilling. Relationships, others circle if you slack. Train daily. Network in calm. Save for storms. Be the lion for force, fox for traps. Strength plus savvy. Amazon crushes threats early. Apply that by addressing issues head-on. Visible readiness deters drama. Now that you see the world's not a playground of fairness, let's dig into Machiavelli's next truth. Conflict isn't some rare storm. It's the weather you live in. He said, There is no avoiding war. It can only be postponed to the advantage of others. Chew on that. Every day, someone's testing your edges, your co-worker angling for your project, your friend subtly flexing dominance, or even a stranger sizing you up. The question isn't if you'll face a fight, it's whether you're ready when it lands. Think about it like a chessboard. The players who win aren't surprised by attacks. They're already 3 moves ahead. In business, companies like Netflix don't wait for competitors to strike. They disrupt themselves, dropping DVDs for streaming before anyone else could. In your life, it's the guy who's always learning, always sharpening, who doesn't get blindsided. The dude who coasts, he's the first to crash when the tide turns. Machiavelli's animal analogy nails it. Be a lion to scare off threats, but a fox to spot the traps. Miss either, and you're done. Either too weak to stand tall or too blind to see the setup. So how do you prep? Stay vigilant. Build skills when times are good, so you're not scrambling when they're not. Save cash when the economy's humming. Nurture connections before you need favors. The strongest people, whether CEOs or that one friend who always lands on their feet, don't react to chaos. They're built for it. Show the world you're not an easy mark, and most predators will pass you by for softer prey. That's not aggression, it's survival smarts. But here's where most guys trip up. They think being the nice guy will shield them. Wrong. Society's fed you this idea that kindness equals strength, that honesty always wins. Machiavelli saw through that. He wrote, "A prince never lacks legitimate reasons to break his promises." Harsh, but real. Deception isn't just for villains, it's how nature works. A chameleon blends in to eat, not to be cruel. Humans, same deal. Politicians spin tales of hope they won't deliver. Brands sell you freedom in a $200 sneaker. Even your best friend might stretch the truth to dodge a fight. Does that mean you should lie non-stop? Nah, that's for amateurs who get caught. The move is strategic deception. Show the world what it needs to see to respect you, not your raw, unfiltered self. Share truth when it builds your rep. Hold back when it weakens you. Break a promise if keeping it screws you over. The world's not rewarding your heart, it's judging your moves. Look at any influencer. They don't post their flops. They curate a vibe. That's not fake. It's calculated. The honest guy who spills everything, he's not noble. He's lunch. Now let's talk morality, because this one's a cage. You've been told good and evil are clear-cut, that the universe keeps score. Machiavelli called BS. Morality isn't truth. It's a leash. The powerful decide what's right to keep control. Kings once called rebellion sin to crush uprisings. Today, governments label dissent as chaos to silence critics. Corporations push sustainability while cutting corners. Morality shifts to serve the ones writing the story. The kicker: the elite don't follow their own rules. They preach fairness while stacking the deck. They demand loyalty while jumping ship for better deals. Why? Because a crowd that buys into rigid morals polices itself, leaving the powerful free to maneuver. Machiavelli's advice: don't ditch morals entirely. Use them. Look virtuous when it wins trust. Bend the rules when it saves your skin. The guy who's a slave to goodness gets played. The guy who wields it like a tool, he's calling shots. This all ties to the real currency of power, fear, and reward. Forget money or love. Those are just props. Machiavelli knew people chase what feels good and dodge what hurts. Every leader, from ancient emperors to your team manager, runs on this. A politician dangles tax cuts while hinting at tough times if you don't vote their way. A boss promises a raise but keeps the pressure on with deadlines. Even in relationships, it's the push-pull of affection and distance that keeps things tight. The mistake is going all in on one side, smother people with rewards and they take you for granted. Rule by fear alone, and they'll plot behind your back. The magic is balance. Give just enough to keep them hooked, hold back enough to keep them hungry. Think of a coach who praises effort but benches you for slacking. Suddenly, you're grinding to stay in the game. Master this, and you don't just influence, you own the dynamic. Ask, what does this person want most? What scares them most? Position yourself as the gatekeeper to both, and they're yours. Let's wrap this with trust, because it's the slipperiest piece. You've been sold this idea that trust is sacred, built to last. Machiavelli laughed at that. Trust is fragile, pretty like glass, but one crack and it's gone. You've seen it. A friend bails when you're no longer useful. A partner flips after one misstep. Trust only holds as long as it benefits both sides. Weak people beg for trust, spilling their guts to prove they're real. Strong people craft it like a tool. They show consistency, drop the right signals, and never overshare. Think of a top-tier CEO. They don't plead for belief. They project confidence, and you buy in. The darkest part? The guy who trusts too much is the easiest to steer. He'll forgive red flags, eat excuses, cling to promises long after they're hollow. That's not love. It's leverage for someone else. So here's the playbook. Don't bank on trust. Shape it. Use it, but never lean on it. The world's not a safe space, it's a proving ground. You've now got the keys. Emotions over logic, strength over niceness, reputation over honesty, readiness over hope, loyalty, trust, morality. They're tools, not truths. You can't unsee this. Every handshake, every smile, every deal now shows its angles. The question isn't whether you'll use this, it's how far you'll take it. Knowledge like this can paralyze the hesitant or empower the bold. If you're ready to wield it, you're not just playing the game, you're rewriting the rules. So if this hit you, drop a like, subscribe, and ring that bell. The next video's diving deeper into Machiavelli's strategies, the ones that turn regular players into legends. You don't want to miss how to make these moves your own. Stay sharp because the world doesn't wait.